The psychology of the homebody is so interesting because people love to assume it means one thing. They think if you love being home, you must be shy, socially anxious, boring, missing out, secretly wishing you were out doing something more exciting. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes the woman who keeps choosing her own company over the noise of the world is actually the most content person in the room. If you're the kind of girl who gets invited out and genuinely thinks, or I could light a candle, make tea, put on my favorite show, and spend time with myself, this is for you. Because I think a lot of homebodies spend years wondering if there's something wrong with them, when in reality they're experiencing something a lot of people never learn how to create: peace. One of the biggest psychological differences between true homebodies and people who constantly need stimulation is where they get their sense of reward. Some people feel most alive when they're surrounded by novelty, new places, new people, new experiences. Their brains love external stimulation. Other people get that same sense of satisfaction from familiarity, comfort, and depth. They don't need 20 different plans. They want one really good evening. They don't need to be entertained every second. They actually enjoy their own thoughts, and that is becoming surprisingly rare. We live in a culture that treats busyness like a personality trait. If someone asks what you've been up to and you say, honestly, not much, I've just been enjoying my life, people almost look concerned, as if calmness requires an explanation, as if rest needs justification. But psychologically speaking, constantly seeking stimulation can sometimes be a way of avoiding yourself. The reason I find homebodies fascinating is because being home removes distractions. You're left with your thoughts, your feelings, your habits, your relationship with yourself. And not everybody enjoys that experience. That's why some people need background noise every second. They need plans every weekend. They need constant communication. Silence feels uncomfortable because silence introduces them to themselves. Meanwhile, the homebody is over there having a full conversation with her own brain and somehow having the time of her life. Now, I do think there are two different kinds of homebodies. The first is the peaceful homebody. She likes being home because she genuinely enjoys it. She could go out if she wanted to. She just doesn't always want to. Her home feels like a sanctuary. Her alone time restores her. She has a rich inner world. The second is the fearful homebody. She tells herself she likes being home, but deep down she's avoiding things, avoiding rejection, avoiding discomfort, avoiding vulnerability, avoiding life. The difference isn't where you spend your time. The difference is whether your choice is coming from a peace or a fear. I always tell girls to ask themselves one question: if I knew I couldn't fail, would I still be making this choice? If the answer is yes, you're probably acting from authenticity. If the answer is no, there may be some fear hiding underneath what looks like comfort. Because comfort and avoidance can wear the exact same outfit. Another thing I've noticed about healthy homebodies is that they're often very selective with their energy. They're not antisocial, they're quality control experts. They don't want 5 shallow conversations. They want one meaningful one. They don't want to spend 6 hours making small talk with people they barely know. They'd rather spend that time reading, creating, learning, resting, or talking to someone they actually love. Psychologically, that's not necessarily isolation, it's discernment. And honestly, I relate to that. I love people, I enjoy connection, but I also adore myself. I enjoy my own routines, I enjoy my own company, I enjoy waking up and realizing I have an entire day with my favorite person on earth, to me. The older I get, the more luxurious that feels. There is something deeply attractive about a woman who isn't constantly running away from herself. A woman who can sit in her own space and feel content. A woman who doesn't need external validation every hour to feel alive. That's a level of self-trust a lot of people spend years trying to develop. So if you're a homebody, don't automatically assume it's something you need to fix. Ask yourself why. If your home feels like a prison, that's one conversation. If your home feels like a sanctuary, that's another. The goal isn't to force yourself into someone else's definition of a fun life. The goal is to build a life you genuinely enjoy living. Some women come alive in crowded rooms. Some women come alive in quiet ones. Neither is superior. But if you're the kind of girl who feels happiest curled up in your own little world, drinking coffee, working on your goals, taking care of yourself, and protecting your peace, don't let anybody convince you that's a smaller life. Sometimes the woman sitting quietly at home isn't missing out on life at all. Sometimes she's finally built one she doesn't feel the need to escape from. Love you no matter what.